Europe has made a nasty habit of sticking to the wrong side of history. It might sound like a sweeping statement, but think about it. Europe has always thrived at the expense of others. They are the true pioneers of apartheid. It's a habit they're finding difficult to shake even in the 21st century. This time, it is not racial or ethnic. It's about vaccines. It's about the money involved in vaccines. Last year, India and South Africa submitted a proposal at the World Trade Organization, the WTO. It was a straightforward proposal. They wanted to waive patents for Wuhan virus vaccines. As expected, the pharma lobby, Big Pharma, pushed back. And they had ample support from the West. Nearly 8 months later, the United States relented. Joe Biden agreed to waive patents. It was a surprise decision because this put America and China on the same page. Both of them, America and China, wanted to waive patents, both of them supporting India's initiative. Great news. Surely it was only a matter of time before Europe followed. Wrong. Do not underestimate the power of Big Pharma, the kind of clout that they have in Europe. Brussels is still holding out. Next week, the WTO will debate the patent waiver. But Europe is heading to Geneva with an alternative proposal, one that does not involve waiving patents. How is Europe justifying this? Well, they have two arguments. One, a waiver will not boost production in the short run. And two, it will remove incentives for pharma companies, especially in updating vaccines to keep up with the mutants. Do these arguments sound familiar? They should, because it's directly from the Big Pharma playbook. The similarities do not end here. The European proposal has three goals. Number one, to loosen export restrictions. Talk about hypocrisy. Let me take you back to March 2021. The same European Union restricted vaccine exports. They saved up jabs for their own people. It was actually the EU that set off the ugly trend of vaccine nationalism. And now with herd immunity around the corner, they want to loosen exports. Number two, voluntary licenses. And this is when a patent holder authorizes other companies to produce their drug. For example, the agreement between AstraZeneca and India's Serum Institute. But such deals just don't cut it. For starters, there aren't enough of them. Africa is producing just 1% of its total vaccines. The rest is imported. So voluntary licenses are just an extension of the vaccine apartheid. Number three, to activate the WTO's TRIPS mechanism. What is that? What is the TRIPS mechanism? TRIPS stands for Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights. Now, during emergencies, the TRIPS permits compulsory licensing. Basically, it means a government can sidestep or override patents. Now, this might seem like a perfect solution, but it's a minefield. Overriding patents is only the job half done. Reverse engineering the vaccine will likely take months. And we don't have that kind of time. India's proposal at the WTO accounts for this. It covers not just patents, but copyrights and trade secrets. And that's the big difference between the two proposals. The European one gives you the vaccine secrets, yes, but it's encrypted in a secret code. And you have to break that code to get the recipe. The Indian proposal, on the other hand, is wholesome. It's a step-by-step guide for producing the vaccine. Now, this week, two more countries endorsed India's proposal, New Zealand and Ukraine. But the EU and the UK and Switzerland are still not on board, which means the proposal is likely to be dropped. For Big Pharma, it is mission accomplished. They waged a fierce lobbying campaign at Brussels, and it paid off. We have some numbers for you. They tell you how wide Big Pharma cast its net. In 2020, they spent $44 million on lobbying. The most prominent group, the European Federation of Pharmaceutical Industries and Associations, they ramped up spending by 20%. All this money meant more access. Pharma companies held 140 meetings with European officials. Guess how many meetings pro-waiver groups got? One. At any given time, there are 290 lobbyists in Brussels. There could be hundreds more in the member capitals. We have already lost a lot of time debating waivers, 8 months to be precise. In this time, we could have set up new production lines, we could have vaccinated millions of people, but there's no point dwelling in what could have been. European nationalism ravaged the world once. It divided us into first world, second world, and third world. Years later, it's almost like nothing has changed. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.